I don't like the idea of legendary IP like Halo, Gears, and Forza going over to PlayStation. But the reality is we want Xbox to live and we want to keep getting fed in Xbox Game Pass. They need to interject market disruption.
Alright everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and today we're going to go over your next dose of the somewhat salty batch files, but mixed in with a little bit of a theme of things here. And obviously, due to the opener here, we're going to talk a little bit more about Game Pass and kind of what entrapped Xbox into the current situation that they're in as well. So, mixed with some salt and some information, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, what we're going to do is get right to the plot, right to the theme of things here, and we're going to get right to some context pieces here. So starting right off here, Noble Smith, if you don't know who this gentleman is, look him up just to save some time on this video, but he states off strong here stating, I'm telling you, all you gamers, and anyone who is still an Xbox fan, Microsoft hates creatives and has zero respect for us storytellers. There used to be a passionate narrative team at Xbox first-party publishing, and I was once a proud member of that team. But after today, the last vestiges of narrative at publishing have been let go. Microsoft and its insatiable drive for golden ducats kills creativity. Xbox and Game Pass are the Costco of gamers, which, pause, I like Costco. I like Costco. And if you're going to refer Microsoft to something, I mean, you can kind of compare them to Costco, by the way, but maybe something a little less on the tier of prime shopping experiences, because again, Costco, I don't see anything wrong with Costco, but maybe I'm missing something here, guys. But that being said, all jokes aside there, what he's stating is truth, and this comes off of the unfortunate, layoffs and stuff that happen, that is going to happen industry-wide as time goes on, but more indicatively of the Xbox brand as through Microsoft themselves, bracing themselves, going towards AI, stuff like that, so a tonal shift, restructuring, obviously they're full-on third-party, yes. The Xbox fanboys doesn't like me utilizing the word third party or full on third party because they don't understand context. However, that's just where it is. So just a little bit of context piece here. I'm going to go on as well to the next example here, guys. Rafael Colantonio. All right. If you don't know who this gentleman is, also look that up to save some time in the video here. Why is no one talking about the elephant in the room? Cough, cough, Game Pass. As a developer, what are your thoughts on Game Pass? Ratchet Taco states. Raphael states, I think Game Pass is an unsustainable model. Weird, I've only been saying that since it's almost incarnation after really breaking it down. But as we continue here, that has been increasingly damaging the industry for a decade. I've also stated this, subsidized by Microsoft's infinite money, quotations, right? Obviously something I've stated over and over again as well. But at some point, reality has to hit. Right. I don't think Game Pass can coexist with other models. They'll either kill everyone else or give up. Or they'll change, right? I think they would change. If it doesn't catch on, pardon me, if it doesn't catch on and they still want to make it lucrative and stuff, expect the price to go up, right? Expect maybe first party day one exclusives not being there day one, right? First party games. That's going to change. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different scenarios that can change, but a lot of pausing moments here. But let's keep going here. So Very AFK states in here as well, what happens when all that money runs out? In quotations, is the most vocal concern in my network and one of the main economic reasons people I know haven't shifted to its business model. The infinite money thing never made any sense. Exactly. It doesn't matter if you are the richest person or company in the world. As a business, this isn't a charity, this is a hobby, and as a business, okay? It doesn't matter how much money you have. You're in it to make money and profitability. Not just a little bit of profit, like, hey guys, we made budget. We made a little bit more too. It's fine. You know what? All our CEOs and other executives, they don't need their yachts. It's fine. Let's just keep giving the gamers all these games on a great value service. That's not how that works, guys. Okay, Xbox fanboys out there that still don't seem to get that, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. As we continue, Raphael states, I agree, and I'm fed up with all the BS they fed us at first, like, don't worry, it doesn't impact the sales, only to admit years later that it totally does. No crap, it does, really. So, again, I hate to keep pausing here, but this is all stuff I've stated. I'm not an industry insider, I'm just putting my two brain cells together. That's all I'm doing. It's simple. I'm not grifting, I was never grifting. From the beginning to now, I was just being honest, and the Xbox fanboys and others frauds, shills, and grifters didn't like that rhetoric, right? We continue with AFK here. Regarding cannibalization of sales, we aren't seeing that. The economics never made sense, but at the same time, I do recognize that for smaller teams with new or riskier IPs, it helped de-risk. Much prefer Sony's lifecycle management strategy, as do anybody, again, with a couple brain cells. That aren't just shilling, grifting, and trying to take the bullet for a company that doesn't give a crap about them, right? And I'm not saying PlayStation gives a crap about everybody either. They're a business. But I'm also not taking a bullet or stating I'm going to for Sony or PlayStation. Not happening. Where some of the I'm sure there are some PlayStation fanboys out there that would, just like there would be for Nintendo and Xbox, right? But let's keep going. Raphael finishes up stating, yeah, the only way GP can coexist without hurting everyone is for the back catalog. Right. That again is another variable, another shift, another way it can look into things, right? There's things to make this successful enough, but some of the fanboys and some of the fans are not going to like the shift that happens with Game Pass because part of that enticement was day one first-party games at a considerable low price, low monthly rate, stuff like that. Both those things cannot keep hand in hand. There will be changes if Game Pass is going to stick around. Very AFK, exactly, right? So we wrap it up, real nice, neat, tiny bow here. I know things have come out since this post. If you've seen this post floating around for a little while or whatever the case is, right? Game Pass is profitable in a way, and in some ways. And some people came back in one of my videos and said, you're lying and you said Game Pass wasn't profitable. It's not profitable in the way it needs to be profitable. This is why they are full on third party. Okay, I'm not saying they're losing money. I'm saying it's not profitable in the sense it's just like we're taking a movie, right? A brand new blockbuster movie, and you hear about how much it costs to be made and advertisements. There's the budget. It made it back over opening weekend, guys. This is what it made back. That doesn't mean it entails all the costs. You need more. Just because it meets, you need things to far exceed. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having cuts. We wouldn't be going full third party. We wouldn't be dependent on PlayStation gamers buying up the first party games that Xbox is offering on that competing platform. It's pretty simple. Those that are upset by it don't understand the facts. Now, let's get over to some of the coping mechanisms, some of the salt pieces here, right? We got, of course, feature Kid Smooth. It's been a few videos, gave him some time off, wanted him to relax here. But here we have a post of his. If you missed it, here he has it. Back when we have Helldivers announcement, right? Helldivers 2, he states 5 PlayStation games that need to come to Xbox. Why do they need to come to Xbox? A, you have a PlayStation. B, you have a PC. C, you guys are abhorrently utilizing Game Pass. So you're not going to buy these games if you're not buying them on PlayStation or PC. Why would you buy them on Xbox? Again, it's going to be interesting to see what Helldivers 2 does on the Xbox ecosystem when it's available August 26th. It will be interesting. I think it fits the mold, like I've stated multiple times before, on how that will work for the community. That's just their type of game. That's kind of the montage there, right? In addition to that, though, anything outside of that, I mean, aside from maybe Spider-Man, you put God of War, you put Uncharted, all this other stuff, I don't think they do as well on the Xbox ecosystem, especially with Game Pass, because they don't want to buy these games. If they're not at a very steep discount, or on Game Pass, they turn a blind eye. They've been conditioned, the casual market especially has been conditioned to utilize Game Pass to its full capacity, right? To its full benefit. So again, coping continues. Like, Xbox is in shambles, but guys, what if Xbox had PlayStation games? That'll change things. No, it's done. It's done, guys. Let's keep going here. So, of course, talking about Game Pass as well, in addition to this, Boomstick, if we had the feature, please... I don't understand the alfalfa hair. I mean, trust me, I would love to alfalfa my hair to keep what's left, but I don't. In addition to that, though, let's get to the post. just for cosmetic concerns, gentlemen, please just get rid of the alfalfa do. Anyways, the founder of Arcane is wrong. Xbox Game Pass is not to blame for slowing game sales. You can thank hashtag free-to-play games for that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Obviously, Boomstick, boom, he's wrong 99.9999% of the time. And that's just who he is. He's definitely soaking it in that he was right about Helldivers 2. And again, a broken clock is right twice a day. In this case, the broken compass may eventually lead you north if you keep spinning around enough. In addition to that, no, it's not just free-to-play games. I will give you some credit. Free-to-play games also do play a part in this as well, for sure. But Game Pass extensionally has done the same thing. It has added to the effect of free-to-play games. If you want to sit there and act like this is some sort of divine blessing upon gamers, and I understand the value behind it, Game Pass is not that. It's just not sustainable. It's not getting the subscription numbers it did in a perfect world. And in theory, that was supposed to happen. It didn't happen. Boom. It didn't happen. Game Pass is an addition to hurting game sales, much like free-to-play games are because of microtransactions, etc., etc. I still believe in single-player games, microtransactions have no place to be there. Multiplayer games, online games, do you want to do cosmetics? That's totally up. It doesn't change the game. You know what? That's a business thing, and no one's forcing you to purchase those things. They're just there. They may act and be predatory in a sense. That's what they do. That's what corporations do. That's what advertisements do every time on your TV when they're selling you McDonald's or Wendy's or any toy or any other electronic system on there, any other subscription service. That's what happens. Welcome to the real world, folks that don't like microtransactions. Again, they have a place, not in single-player games, I don't believe, but they have a place. But full circle, Game Pass does harm and hurt game sales. It's been proven. Phil Spencer himself has stated it, but nope. Boom's stating no. Boom is stating no, because he's been right so much, guys, so definitely keep listening and following to this guy. He has a huge follower base. It's crazy. This guy is wrong 99% of the time and has the worst takes out there. Some of the worst takes out there. And folks, I know a lot of content creators out there with terrible takes. This guy is high up there. But let's keep going here. So Destin. Remember when Destin, a couple years ago now at this point, right? A couple years ago, he was getting all snide and snarky about it, quoting, Game Pass is value destructive, quoting what Jim Ryan from Sony at the time before he retired stated. Wanted to be snark and sneaky about it, right? It is value destructive. The Game Pass has a lot of adjectives you can throw on board with that and make it not sustainable, make it not good for the industry, you name it, the things we continually go over here. But you gotta love it. I love the receipts, guys. I know some of these are a little bit older on ones like that I like to show, but we have to hold this accountable. If you guys missed it, here you go. That's what I'm here for, to show you that these guys don't know what they're talking about. These guys that have these subscription tiers themselves and want you to subscribe to them, to have horrible takes like that when they have absolutely no clue, when they should have a clue because they've been in the industry, so to speak, and they've been with IGN for so long. They have ins and outs and everything else in between. Why are they wrong so many times? Because they're willing to take that bullet for the company and the brand. They're willing to be that corporate loyalist. They're willing to say and do whatever, and they're willing to fraud, shift, and grift and all that stuff, right? It's just, say that 20 times fast, right? But it is. It's pathetic to see. It bites them in the butt. Killer receipts here, guys. As we continue here, right, we have a few more. We'll try to get through this here. Jez. Of course, Jez back in. We had a good piece about him and how he's wrong 90% of the time as well. So, this one being from a couple years ago as well, guys. Hi-Fi Rush kills the narrative that Xbox Game Pass hurt game sales or is, quote, unsustainable. Do we remember this? How snarky he was and how confident that Jez was once again in regards to Hi-Fi Rush just being critically acclaimed, and it did fairly well, right? Commercially, critically acclaimed, stuff like that. And ultimately, what did that do for them? That got them the door. They got a big boot out the door, and luckily they got picked up by someone else, because that's some talented devs out there, and I'm glad they got picked up. And I still haven't got my hands on Hi-Fi Rush, by the way, not due to the fact I don't want to play it. I just haven't gotten around to it, backlog, stuff like that. However, again, so sure that Game Pass was the real deal. Much changes in just a year or two. Really, in a year or two, that time goes by quick, man. And these receipts will haunt them for a long time. Just another dose of reality for them right there. As we continue to go on, of course, Cold Eastwood with a recent post here, right? Game Pass is profitable. Again, do you see how they mislead you? Do you see how I explained earlier, and if any Xbox fanboys not understanding still, because it's slightly profitable, in a sense, doesn't mean it's profitable or successful in the way that Microsoft or Xbox needs it to be. Do we understand that? So again, see how he's creating this false hype and this security blanket that shouldn't necessarily be there without being real with your audience. Of course, Cuck Eastwood can't do that. PlayStation is third party. Yes, they've been third party for a very long time. To the extent of Xbox's full third party, no. You're going to have to cope with that. You're going to have to deal with it. You stating that they're third party is nothing new. Xbox Series S is next gen. Sure. It's next gen because it came out after the Xbox One and One X. Obviously. So that doesn't mean all the bells and whistles are there that it should have been. Sorry. Again, security blanket. Hyping the ecosystem and the hardware for their fans. Not good. 80 plus Metacritic is a great game. Well, at least we have some semblance of reality here. That is a great game. I would even go as far as saying in the 70 plus Metacritic. A lot of those games are good, and unfortunately some of those get hit with other dings and stuff that shouldn't be in the 70s. So you're kind of off the mark. I mean, I appreciate, yes, 80 plus is great games, and I think it can go to 70. 60, you might be playing with fire, right? But again, not alluding to the 70s, don't want to mention anything like that. He goes on, exclusives are dissolving. This is what they're doing, frothing at the mouth. This is what they're doing to cope. All the Xbox frauds, grifters, and shills, they're frothing at the mouth. This is how they're coping. A lot of the PC elitists like Gaz, because I have to say it now that he hopped on board, even though he's still an Xbox fanboy, Alex, etc. They're frothing at this because they're like, yes. And this is what I don't understand, guys. This is what I don't understand. Why? Why are they so upset over all these exclusives? They're not above pirating and emulating and doing all sorts of stuff. People are sending me screenshots my way all the time when I, critique PC whatsoever. Oh, it's not bad, da-da-da-da-da. And here's all these screenshots of them incriminating themselves, emulating, pirating all the Nintendo games, the latest Mario Kart World, all the Nintendo games that are not on PC. You got Bloodborne over there, 60 frames per second, all that stuff, which fantastic. If that's the case, why are you begging for PlayStation games? Because someone's able to emulate or get those or pirate those over there. So what are we looking at here? That's what I don't understand. So there's an agenda. They're still salty. They're still upset. Because if it was all great, gravy train, grapes, wine, you name it, it'd be fine. They wouldn't even be in this neck of the woods. And I will tell you this real quick before we wrap up the indie portion here. When I PC gamed, and I used to make that my preferred ecosystem for a while, a couple times in my gaming highlighted career, right? When I was on PC, the last thing I thought about was consoles. The last thing I thought about was anything to do with consoles. Because I was focused on the games I wanted to play on PC, and that's all that mattered to me, and my attention was not shifted over there. I'm not going through Reddit, I'm not going through anything else, I'm not going through all these frauds and grifters and all that stuff. That's the last thing I cared about. Last thing I cared about is a PC eccentric person that was primarily gaming on PC a few times in my gaming career. But yeah, so super odd to me. Like, does this not raise a red flag to most people, right? The true PC gamers out there, you're not partaking in any console wars. It has nothing to do with that. If you don't care about the exclusives and what's available on consoles, you should not care. You're a fake, fraud, pretender. That's all you are. So let's wrap up the AA and indie games rule. Yes, they do. That's probably the most honest take out of this entire little mini paragraph you have here. The most honest take you have. So I'll give you that one. Everything else, grain of salt, and that security blanket, and filling your fan base with hype, cope, false sense of security. Simple as that. Well, we should expect no less from Cuck Eats Wood, right? As we follow up with our final example here, Jez is coming back. Gave him just a quick nap before he came back here. I know he wanted that. What back catalog PlayStation game from these would you like to see hit Xbox next after Helldivers 2? And he has the examples of The Last of Us, Days Gone, Returnal, and Ghost of Tsushima. This is what's great, okay? All of these examples right now, by the way, are on PC. A lot of these folks have a PC and actually do game on a PC. But do you see what Jez is doing? And this is a very recent post from Jez. Hyping up the community once again. Don't worry about Xbox, guys. Don't worry about Xbox. We could possibly get more PlayStation games. Just you wait. The tagline of Xbox in a nutshell, just wait. Just wait and see. Just wait and see what games might be available. Just wait and see what happens with this next hybrid console, what ends up happening there. Just wait. Do you see the nonsense? And these guys have a lot of followers. That's what gets me. Guys, wake up. Be better, do better, think for yourself, play where you want, do what you want. No one here is to tell you how you should and should not play. Go play where you want that makes you the happiest. But stop lying to yourself and stop giving these fraud grifters and shills a platform. Stop giving them so much power and influence when they're giving you nothing but bullcrap. That's what they're serving you, is bullcrap. You're going to the most best, finest, dinest place that you're at, and you're expecting the best steak, you're expecting the best dessert, the hors d'oeuvres, the appetizers, and he's just serving you up straight crap from the field across the street, straight cow pies, and not just Jez, but all of them. Cuck Eats Wood, all of them. They serve up cow pies for you consistently, and they're probably not even real cow pies. It's probably like half cow pie, half grain. Probably not even a full cow pie. They can't even stick to that. Anyway, I got off on a weird analogy there. However, I just want to get the point across of how full of crap these guys are all the time, and just wake up, think for yourselves, and do what you want. And influencers, make sure you're bolstering up the right ones, the ones that are being honest and truthful with you. But that being said, we wrap up the video here. I appreciate it. If you stuck around for the entirety of the video, thank you so much. If you haven't already, definitely like and comment down below. Would love to hear from you. Both those things do help out the algorithm. Of course, we hit that 3,500 subscriber goal like I mentioned last time. Thank you so much. Let's crush that over to the 4,000. Let's keep going. Let's get the truth out there. I appreciate your guys' support. I really do. And of course, always at the end of the day, just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. And until then, take care.